She wasn't my boss. She never signed my paycheck. She had zero authority over me. But she spent 3 years trying to convince the entire office otherwise, until I found the one lever she couldn't survive me pulling. This is the story of Denise, the time card, and the 4 minutes that broke her. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever had a coworker who acted like your manager without the title, the paycheck, or the authority, you already know exactly the kind of person we're talking about today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and settle in because this one is deliciously petty. My name is Reagan, and for 2 years I worked in an office that ran like most offices do, mostly fine, except for one person who made it her personal mission to be everyone's boss, even the people who didn't answer to her. That person was Denise. Denise wasn't my supervisor. She never had been. My actual boss, a mild-mannered man named Greg, was the one who signed off on my reviews, approved my time off, and technically held every ounce of authority over my job. Denise's real function in the office was administrative. She kept training records up to date, chased down signatures, and rode herd on the endless river of small tasks that kept the department from falling apart. She also managed her own small team, and on that team, her word was law. The problem was, Denise had never quite accepted that her authority stopped at the edge of her own team. In her head, if a task crossed her desk, she owned it, and by extension, she owned you. She had the kind of confidence that comes from being right about paperwork, so often that she'd started to believe she was right about everything else too. I didn't hate her, exactly. Hate takes energy, and Denise wasn't worth the investment. She annoyed me. The reflexive way she corrected people, the little sighs she'd let out when you asked her a question she considered beneath her, the way she'd repeat company policy, like she'd personally written it. Most days, I just avoided her. It was easier to let her win the small stuff than to spend my energy proving a point to someone who, frankly, wasn't my problem to manage. That strategy worked fine. Until the Sunday shift. Our whole team had been called in to cover a Sunday afternoon, the kind of thing nobody wants but everybody understands. Greg, decent boss that he was, told us we had 2 options to make up the hours, flex time or track time. Flex meant you logged the extra hours worked and simply left early later in the week to balance it out. Clean, simple, no extra paperwork. Tracked meant you formally claimed the hours on your time card for the day you worked them, and again on the day you took the time back. I did the math. 4 hours on Sunday, 4 hours off on Friday. I chose flex. It was the obvious choice, less friction, less paperwork, exactly what Greg had authorized.
Denise did not see it that way.
She caught wind of my choice and marched over with the particular energy of a woman who has just found a rule being broken on her watch. You need to use track time, she told me. That's what I told my team to use. I blinked at her. Greg gave us the choice. I'm using flex. No, she said, like she was correcting a child. You have to follow the same process as everyone else. I don't, I said. And I'm not going to. She pushed. I pushed back, calmly but firmly. Eventually, I did what I always did with Denise. I rolled my eyes, decided it wasn't worth the fight, and told myself I'd deal with it later if it actually became a problem. Spoiler, I got busy.
I didn't deal with it.
I just let it sit. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. That same afternoon, Greg called me into his office. Not for a project update. Not for a performance check-in. For this. Denise had gone over my head, straight to my actual boss, to report that I was causing her stress by refusing to use her preferred process. I sat across from Greg, genuinely a little stunned. I laid it out plainly. He'd given us the choice himself, I'd made a valid one, and Denise had decided his instructions didn't apply to me. To his credit, Greg realized the mess he'd accidentally created by not clarifying that his authorization overrode her preferences, and we sorted it out professionally. No hard feelings. But something in me had shifted. Denise hadn't come to me like an adult with a disagreement. She'd skipped straight to trying to get me in trouble with my actual manager over 4 hours of paperwork. That wasn't annoying anymore. That was a declaration. So I sent her a message. Simple, professional, and pointed. If you have a problem with how I'm doing something, come to me directly. Don't waste both our time going around me. Her reply told me everything I needed to know about what was actually driving all of this. I did, and you didn't do it. I have to get these signed. It stresses me out. Stresses her out. Not it violates policy. Not it's against the rules. It stresses her out. That was the moment I went looking for the fine print. Here's what I found. Our company policy stated, in plain black and white, that time cards weren't due until close of business on Wednesday. Denise didn't have to sign off on anything until close of business Thursday. She had an entire extra day of legitimate breathing room. But Denise didn't operate on the policy's timeline. She operated on her own self-imposed deadline, getting every time card signed by end of day Wednesday, a full day early,
an hour
so
away
she could
from
hold that up
Senegal's
as
capital
proof of how
and will
far
catch
above
anyone's
and
eye
beyond she
right
went.
away.
It
The
wasn't
lake is
about
just
the rules.
barely separated
It
from
was
the
about the
Atlantic by a
performance of
couple of
being
sand dunes,
indispensable.
which is what gives
My
the lake
late
its high
time
salt
card
content.
wasn't late at all.
This salt
It was
content
just
attracts a type
inconveniently
of
timed
bacteria
for her
called
personal highlight reel.
Dunaliella, which
I
is
sat
what
with
gives
that
the lake its
information for
unique coloring.
exactly one afternoon
The
before
coloring
I
becomes
decided what to do
increasingly
with it.
strong during
I
the
didn't
dry
yell.
season between
I
November
didn't
and June,
escalate.
which
I
is the
didn't
best
even
time
bring
to
it up
visit if you
again.
want to take
I
pictures
just started
of the
submitting my
world's
time
only
card at
glowing pink lake.
4:55 p.m. every single Wednesday.
Number 9.
5
Las
minutes
Lajas
before close
Sanctuary,
of business.
Colombia.
5 minutes
If
before
Las
her precious,
Lajas Sanctuary looks
self-imposed,
magical, it's because
entirely
miracles inspired
unofficial
it.
finish line.
In 1754,
Denise left at
a young girl
4:30.
was cured of her
I left
deafness
at 5
right
o'clock.
here after seeing
Every
the Virgin
week,
Mary's image
without
on the
fail,
rocks of the gorge.
I filed my
And later,
time card
a
directly
blind man
into the
regained his sight
25-minute
too.
window where she
To
had
honor
already
these
gone
series of
home
miracles,
and could do
the people built this
absolutely nothing about it until the
1949
next morning.
neo-Gothic
A
basilica,
morning that,
and it
for
remains a
policy,
pilgrimage site
was
to
still
this day.
perfectly on time.
For those of you who
The
want to
first
visit,
week,
it's
she
located
assumed
in
it
the
was a
southern
fluke.
Colombian
The
department
second
of
week,
Nariño,
she sent
in the
a
municipality of
passive-aggressive
Apales,
reminder.
and is
By the
almost
third week,
magically
she
built right
recruited a
inside
friend
the
from her
canyon
team
of
to
the
swing by my
Guatarrara
desk
River.
and casually ask,
Before we move
"Hey,
on,
just checking.
here's a quick
Have
challenge
you finished
for you.
your time card
If
yet?"
you can leave a
I
like on
looked
this
up from
video,
my lunch,
smash that
chewing
subscribe
slowly,
button,
and
and
said,
turn on the notifications
"No,
in less than 5
super
seconds.
busy.
You will have
I'll
10
have it
years
done
of amazing
before
luck.
close of business."
Hurry up and try it.
Which
it
was
actually
true.
works.
Completely, unimpeachably true.
Number 8.
Just not on
Rainbow
her clock.
Mountains, China.
She tried once more.
The mythical
to
Rainbow
loop Greg
Mountains of
back in,
China within the
telling him I
Zhangye
was late
Dongxiao
again.
Landform Geological
I forwarded
Park
him the
are a
exact policy
geological
language.
wonder of the world.
Due Wednesday.
These
close of
Chinese
business.
mountains are
He
famous for
replied
their
with a thumbs
otherworldly
up
colors
and nothing
that
else.
mimic a rainbow
There was
painted
nothing
over
to
the tops
escalate
of
because
rolling
there was
mountains.
nothing to escalate.
The colorations are
I wasn't
caused by
breaking a
various
single rule.
diagenetic
I
and
was simply no
mineralogical
longer
processes
breaking one of
that make
hers.
up the reds,
Every Wednesday
greens,
became
yellows,
the
and
same
blues.
quiet,
Some will argue that
satisfying
this is
ritual.
one of the coolest places on Earth,
4:55
and the planet
p.m.
seems to agree,
Submit.
seeing as
Watch
the area was
nothing
named a
happen for the rest
UNESCO
of the
World
day
Heritage Site
because
in
Denise
2009.
had already clocked out.
Number
Powerless.
7.
Her
Moraine
personal
Lake,
deadline
Canada.
sailing passed without her.
Set
Word
in
started
the
getting
rugged
around
valley
the
of
office.
Canada's 10
Not
peaks
because
is
I
Moraine
told
Lake,
anyone, but
a place
because
surrounded
Denise
by
couldn't
mountains,
stop complaining about
waterfalls,
it.
and rock
She's
piles,
always cutting it
creating
so
a scene
close.
so stunning
It stresses
almost
me out
seems
every
unreal.
week.
The lake's
Meanwhile,
waters are the
I
most
was
magical
eating my
color,
lunch in peace,
a vivid shade of
watching a
turquoise
woman
that
completely
changes in
unravel
intensity
over
through
a
the summer as
5-minute
the
window
glaciers
that
melt.
existed
Its
entirely
brilliant
inside
blue-green
her own
color
head.
is a result of
She
light
never came to me
refracting
directly
off
again.
fine particles of
She
rock
never
in the
tried to
glacier
overrule
runoff,
Greg's
which
decisions for
flows
me
into the
again.
lake.
And every
Because it's
single
at an
Wednesday
elevation
at
of
4:55 p.m.,
6,183
I got
feet,
to enjoy a
the lake
small,
doesn't begin to melt
perfectly
until
legal,
June,
perfectly
which is
petty
when water
reminder
levels
that
rise,
authority
and
you
its
didn't
magical
actually
color
have was
peak
never
and
going to
make for
survive
some
contact with
pristine
someone
photography.
who finally stopped pretending it was real.
Number 6.
At the end of the day, this
Huacachina,
wasn't really
Peru.
about a time card. It was
If
about
you didn't
someone
think
who built her
paradise could
sense of
exist in the
importance
middle of
on
nowhere,
rules she'd
then
invented
check out
herself.
this Peruvian
And what
desert
happens
oasis
when
5
someone simply
hours
declines
south
to
of
play
Lima.
along anymore?
Huacachina
No
is a tiny
shouting
village
match.
with green waters
No
at
dramatic
its center,
confrontation.
forming the
Just
Huacachina
policy,
Lagoon,
patience,
ringed by palm
and
trees
a
and
5-minute
thought
window
to have
that meant
therapeutic
everything
properties.
to her
The
and
lagoon
nothing to
shores
me.
are dotted
If
with
this story
bars
gave
and
you
clubs.
a little bit of secondhand
Dune buggies run
satisfaction,
across the high,
smash
rolling
that like
sand
button
dunes
and
surrounding
tell
the
us in the
village.
comments,
This
what's the most
jaw-dropping
petty,
place allows
perfectly
tourists
legal
to witness the
revenge you've ever
breathtaking
pulled off
sand
at
dunes
work?
from an
And if
entirely
you want more
different
stories
perspective.
like this one,
And for anyone
make sure you're
adventurous enough,
subscribed
can
because
try
we've got
sandboarding
plenty
down
more
the
where this
dunes
came
for an
from.
unforgettable